Welcome to True Out Tuesday, and the truth will set you free. It's not the science that'll set you free because there's only one science. Okay, we're going to change goals to change the world because we are starting year 3 of our incarceration. So, just because a lot of people are just trying to survive, but let's change that. Now, I got a shout out to a friend. I've never met her. She's a nun at this place in Chicago, Judith. But we've been texting back and forth. I really dig this gal. She sent me this quote regarding Frank Capra. Does anybody remember Frank Capra? Okay, amazing. It's the only time that a real man can cry is by watching It's a Wonderful Life. Okay, the talents you have are not your own, not self-acquired. God gave you those talents. They're his gifts to you to use for his purpose. That's brilliant. Now, you all have gifts, and that's the whole point of goal setting. It's not like a Tony Robbins thing. It's a ship without a rudder. Now, I like this quote of from Cicero. The closer to collapse of an empire, the crazier its laws. And I just read a thing where, for a census, male, female, or other. Okay, censorship. Now, I encourage you to copy this. Don't just download the URL. Actually copy it on your computer or get on the Dr. B VIP site. We lost 3 more videos this week. Now, they said that we're not applying a strike because some of these videos, they're 2, 3, 4 years old. And you'll see in all my videos, I bring up a fact. And then give an opinion on the fact, opinion. And so the autoimmune disease and vaccines, cannot talk about that. That's not approved. Question and answers on measles and vaccines. We can't talk about how before 1963, there were 4 million cases every year of measles and 400 deaths. And the CDC that says that if you were born before 1957, that you never need a measles vaccine because the wild virus is protecting you for the rest of your life. So none of that stuff we can talk about because they will wipe it out. But just know that the censorship is in full force. A buddy of mine said this: there is no courage without fear, no faith without challenges, disappointment and defeat. And John Steinbeck, somewhere in the world is defeat for everyone. Some are destroyed by defeat. Some made small and mean by victory. Greatness lives in one who triumphs equally over defeat and victory. And that is true. Because if you understand that we're starting year 3 of our insanity, okay? And what was it? Does anybody remember way back to 2019? It wasn't the Delta. What was it? Alpha. Am I the only one that remembers that far back? You could also call it the Wuhan strain, okay? And then the Delta took over, and then the dreaded Omicron, which is like way less deadly, and more infectious. Okay, we're going to have a lot more because viruses mutate. Well, all of that stuff we can't talk about, okay? So please, those of you that are supporting us on the Dr. B VIP site, God bless you. Sign up for it if you can. It would really help us out. But also, it's a way to keep our videos secured because we're not going to knock them out. Now, to start the year off right, we've opened up 2 weeks of Extreme Health Academy for no charge. Use the Bergman 14 for your 2-week free trial. Just know that we're in this, not the BS from the government. We're in this together. We are going to take the world back together. Now, when confronted with incredible challenges, and some people might think 3 years of incarceration, of lockdowns, of face masking, of constant barragement of every television program, every social media, giving you this ticker tape of fear and ignorance and damage, that might be challenging, right? Now, how about 1914 in Antarctica, where your ship was just destroyed and you're on an ice floe and you try and drag your boats over these ice floes, and then after you do this for a couple of weeks and you're exhausted and hungry, you find that the ice is moving in the wrong direction. Okay, there's no cell phones. And then the only thing that'll save you is an 800-mile journey, okay, done by a couple of guys. And this is after you've been starving for over a year, to find a small island that might have some whalers on it, okay, across one of the roughest oceans in the world. And this is actually the boat that they sailed that on. Okay, they made it. Ernest Shackleton. So if you think 3 years of dealing with insane people and insane regulations, this was hard. So, well, so is what we're going through. Yeah, how'd you like to give up your family or your job? Okay, so number one, what they learned from this, okay, cultivate optimism in yourself, stay grounded in reality, be aware of your self talk, hugely important. Find outlets for your own feelings, let go of guilt. Has anyone ever in here made a mistake? Shit, I'm the only one. Oh, okay, good. There's two more people. Oh, good, good, good. So now we can identify with others. Long-term goals and short-term milestones, and this is what we got to do. Now, these are some of my top 5 goals for 2022. Not to survive, not to get to do to make sure that they're not going to wipe out more of our videos. Okay, no, forget it. We're going to change this world. Number one, I need 2 corrective chiropractors. Very, very hard to find. And we're going to train them and we're going to start opening up our businesses. Okay. I mean, the one in Huntington Beach in Mexico is doing good, but we've got to open up another one. Work out 3 days a week. That means I can't work 6.5 days a week like I am now. Open chiropractic health teaching site. That is in the route and that's being started probably in another month. Now, we're going to be teaching chiropractic and health techniques to everybody. Not just massage therapist or physical therapist. We're talking the regular Joe. So you could adjust your dog or cat or sweetheart or do a little traction, anything to start to restore that brain's communication to the tissue. That's going to be amazing. I'm going to take 1 day off a month to reflect and plan. Now that I can't do now. I got to get the chiropractors first and open a healing center in Thailand. I mean, that's big because I was supposed to be there last week and I couldn't because of the restrictions. And I thought that there was going to be some challenges, and there were. Goals are like having a genie. Imagine if you had a lamp, okay, and you rubbed it and you could do anything you want. The problem is with being in prison for the last couple of years, we're in panic and survival mode. We're not thinking about abundance. We're not thinking about our future. We're not thinking about our world. That's why goals for 2022 are not just important, they're vital to change our society. They're vital to change your health. So what kind of goals? Like health, wealth, travel, success. I mean, anything you could do. The problem is we put limits on our mind. And if you're getting your information from any type of media other than like Del Bigtree or some of the guys that are still spouting normal health, and even that's scary because you might feel overwhelmed that it's hard to change the world when the world is against you. But what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Would you open that business, go back to school? Now think of this. These are big, big challenges. And I think that Ernest Shackleton doing an 800-mile journey in a small boat in the roughest seas of the world, and he's got to leave for months. And the guys on the island, have to trust that he's going to come back. That's a challenge. What does the Bible say? I mean, if you read any religious text like Bible, Torah, Quran, all the Abrahamic faiths, they always say to open a door, what do you got to do? Do you have to take the hinges off? What do they say in the Bible? Oh, you got to knock? That's it? Okay, how do you get stuff? You got to ask? You're kidding. It can't be that easy. But it is. This is wisdom from thousands of years ago. And let me tell you, if we were occupied by a force that had taken over our country, no, I'm not talking about, the current government. I'm talking about the Romans back a couple thousand years ago. okay, that they were forcing the people to do certain things. I mean, so society has gone through challenges like this. Now, when you're doing this, one of the reasons resolutions fail, okay, because they're concentrating on the negative. Like, I just want less bills. Okay, less is a negative, bills is a negative. Okay, I taking something away. Okay, when a patient today was saying, I smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I said, okay, go next door, get the organic tobacco, roll it yourself. Okay, bam, you go from 2 packs of cigarettes a day to about 4 or 5 cigarettes a day. Okay, and he's still rolling and he's happy and everything else. Okay, then I want you to go walking and you add things and try doing something. Don't try anything. What did Yoda say? There is no try. You do it or do not. To start a workout program, you don't need to slowly work into it. You add it right now. Now, has anyone in here ever made a goal that they didn't achieve it? Again, I'm like the only. Oh, okay, good. There's two of us. There's no such thing as an unrealistic goal, only unrealistic timelines, because all things have to fall in place. And the way the world works, just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Rocky was right. Now, we're going to cover these 8 steps to change your life, but we're going to do it in detail. But we've got to review 2021. Not the idiot news programs, but what you accomplished in 2021. Not the, you just survived. Okay, you had to come from a foreign country. Okay, whatever. But review your personal goals, your progression through life in 2021. Determine your highest values. This isn't like moral stuff. It's what you value, what you surround yourself with, what you spend your time on, and the 100 things to do, be, or become. And that is probably the coolest exercise ever to break limits on your brain. And that's what most people have. We're going to choose the top 500 things. I'm going to show you how to expand your mind if you're thinking about lack and stress, how to make a vision board, mindstorming, what mindstorming is different than brainstorming, and how to troubleshoot your life. Now, this is a great wheel. Now, I do this every year, and you could put anything you want on this. I mean, I've got business, career, finances, physical environment, fun, personal growth, romance, friends, family, and health. And those areas. Now, if you're really patterning it, I mean, if you're just nailing life, you are just a good-looking, strong, healthy, you've got a fantastic career, you're in love with the most wonderful partner and amazing, you're going to be all in the outside of the spokes. Okay, so your wheel is going to be round. Okay, that means you're firing on all cylinders, everything. Your life, personal growth, everything. So I'm revealing, I've got 2014, 17, 18, 19, and 21. Okay. And let me tell you, this year was a challenge, 2021. It was tough. We lost 4 employees. Okay. 2 I fired and 2, had other challenges. We had to shift because we're open from 5 in the morning to 6 at night. So we had to go back from 5 days a week to 4 days a week. And so that had to change the whole staff around, had to change the staff in Mexico as well. So I had to increase my, yes, and this is going to sound really bad. I had 4-day weeks. I had 3 days on the weekends. Does that sound good? Yeah. Yeah. I ain't seen that in a year and a half now. Okay. I'm back to 6.5 days a week. I might get a half a day Sunday off. Okay. And we had to start the Dr. B VIP site because of the censorship. We had to do something. So there have been a lot of changes. So you'll see the light green business, career. I'm burning the candle at both ends. Physical environment. I like where I'm living. I'm still married and she's cool. So that romance is high. Okay. Family and friends. Have you guys been hanging out with family and friends a lot recently? No, because you're unvaccinated. Okay. Or you're one of them, anti something, or, you're not wearing the mask, or, whatever. Okay. Health, finances, personal growth. How many seminars have I been to last year? None. They're all closed down. Okay, I'm reading books. I'm just ordered a new sextant because I'm not happy with the one I got. Okay, fun and recreation. I don't have a lot of time for fun and recreation. I got maybe a couple of days a week. So I find joy in this. But let's find joy in planning. Okay, does that make sense? So assess last year accurately, not with embellishment, but accurately. Because I guarantee you, by the time we're done with this, your wheel will be round. Because you can't do this. You can't function on life if you're missing one or two of those as well. DeMartini, highest values, and this is what you spend your time on, what you value, what you surround yourself with. Do you value play? Okay, and one of the challenges, like if you say, well, I really value savings, but I gotta have that Gucci bag. No. That's not there. And if your values, if you're saying, well, I should do this, I should do this, I should do this. Marshall Rosenberg, brilliant guy, said you shouldn't be shouldn't on yourself, okay? Because if you're saying should, you're actually living towards other people's values and not your own. Okay, and values can change. And values are unique to you as your fingerprint. The DeMartini is a great method to find and define your values. Now, a lot of people put limits on their mind, and that's where we got to change this. Because if you're still in fear mode because you've just survived, your 2-year 3 of the destruction of our world, okay, of the imprisonment of our planet, and you're looking at Canada, which is now a prison camp, Washington, they actually are building prison camps, Australia is shut down. You can look at the overall world as insane, okay, and just in survival mode. So how do we break out of that mindset? This is where we do this. Now, think of this. Imagine if there's a universal intelligence, an intelligence that you can tap into, and you're going to tap into it by this exercise. You get a sheet of paper and put 100 things down. Now, you're going to do 100 things. This is a project you're going to do at one sitting. Because the more you focus in on this, the more you get that desperate nature in your mind. Because you can put like 5 or 10 things down to do, be, or become. But to get to 70, 75, 80, you're gonna just be, gosh, I got to put something down. So soon it's going to be, learn Swahili. I'm going to hike Mount Kilimanjaro. I'm going to swim with the sharks on the Great Barrier Reef. I'm going to, I'm going to sail. Follow the route of Ernest Shackleton, which I would never do. Sailing across 800 miles in an open boat. No, I don't think I would put that down. But getting into your mind, you're tapping into this universal intelligence. And you're going to see when you hit 75, 80, 85, 90, travel. You're going to learn how to cook real Grecian food, okay? And in Athens, you're going to, go to Turkey. You're going to go to Göbekli Tepe and see the very first ruins. I mean, everything to do, be, or become, but it's got to be specific, not any BS like, I'm going to be happier. Okay, yeah, right. Feelings change. Okay, you ain't going to be happier. Okay, and then to make this real, you put a 1, a 5, or a 10 next to each item that you put. And this is one sitting. You're not asking help. You've got to tap into that own mind. This is breaking down walls that we have placed in our mind. And let me tell you, the media and the government has placed enough walls of fear and ignorance in your brain. Okay, does that make sense? I mean, think back 2020. Remember, they had to open up the prisons because they couldn't keep people isolated. Okay, remember, this isn't just a little crazy. This is a lot crazy. So you put a 1, a 5, or a 10 next to each one if you could do it in 1 year. Okay, now hiking Mount Kilimanjaro. Who can do that in a year? Probably not. You're going to need you're going to need to make travel arrangements. Could you do it in 5 years? Yeah, 5 years is doable. Okay. Could you go scuba diving the Great Barrier Reef? I could. I'm a certified diver. Okay, I could do that in a year. Okay, but not with my business, so it would probably take 5 years, maybe 10 years. So you do a 1, a 5, and a 10, whether you do it 1 year, 5 year, or 10 years. Okay, that's hugely important because it really makes it real. Like if you wrote down skateboard in the Great Wall of China, okay, sounds bizarre. Could you do it in 10 years? If that was your goal, could you get in shape? Could you practice? Could you get your hips working correctly? In 10 years, if that was your goal, could you do it? Yes or yes? Absolutely. So this way, you write that down, and this is what you're going to build. You choose the top 5 1-year goals, the top 5 5-year goals, and the top 5 10-year goals. And now it's real. So you're looking at these top 5 goals that you can accomplish in a year, and you put it down. You get pictures. You got to look at it every day. You got to reinforce yourself. You're going to visualize it. You're going to smell the ocean if you're going to go sailing. Okay, you got to feel that jungle if you're going to go hiking in the jungle in the Amazon. I've got a buddy now, she's in Brazil, and she's looking at an off-the-grid settlement. Okay, so I'm going to put some mango trees up there. I'm going to, just everything, okay, that you could do. If you want to get healthier, think about juicing, working out, exercise. Does that make sense? So that you're putting those goals down to make it more real. Now, one thing I've eliminated, okay, is travel. I used to love to travel. Are you kidding? I mean, walking up the actual temples in Cancun, in Chichen Itza, okay, where the Aztecs, I mean, they were literally there, swimming in the cenotes, okay, down in the Yucatan Peninsula, walking on the streets in Florence, okay, where Michelangelo walked. I mean, this is goosebump stuff. And that's done with my life now. You can't go there. I'm not going to get a forced medical procedure without informed consent. I'm not going to wear a funky mask. Okay, that's incredible. So we made a decision, dog and a cat. I haven't had a dog in about 8 years, and I've never really had a cat. And this is the dog that's going to come in tomorrow. We ordered a golden doodle, and that's the cat that's going to be ready for us to pick up in about 4 weeks. Don't tell me that you shouldn't get a puppy cat and a puppy. What do you call it? It's a baby cat. Kitten. Okay, good. See, I never had one. Okay, it's a Grand Coon or Maine Coon. I don't know. So yeah, I know it's. You're thinking, boy, my respect for Bergman's just gone down. He's going to have a lot of sleepless nights, and that house is going to smell. No, we're going to work it out. Okay, it's just when you're not traveling, you got to do something. So belief, we got to change our belief system. Now, if you have a belief system that the sun rises in the east, that's not a belief, that's a fact. Okay, if you have a belief that science is of one opinion, really? Okay. Let's have a court case. You bring your expert, I'll bring my expert, okay? There's always a discussion about this. So belief, your belief is a function of a couple of different things. Your perception, okay, evidence, and time. Now, you can talk to people that are absolutely crazy, okay? You can talk to the guy that's jogging with the mask and social distancing and high fives you with his elbow. Okay, and he's really happy. Okay, you can deal with crazy like that, but you can't give them facts and evidence because they're in a certain religion. But understand that your beliefs can change based on the evidence. And the greatest way to change your beliefs is to look at your potential. And your potential is limitless. And that's the whole exercise of doing the 100 things to do, be, or become. To put that crap that you've been exposed to in the trash can where it belongs. Okay, no more are you going to get that ticker tape on the bottom of the deaths or positive cases or fear or ignorance, fear and ignorance, and we're going to break that. So that belief system is gone. Okay? You only live once. No, you live all the time. Okay, you die once. Okay, that's for sure. And you could say, well, no, some people have beat that, but no one had help. Okay. So this is one of my favorite stories. Okay, this mom goes in. She's got 2 kids. One kid is depressed all the time. One kid is happy all the time. And it's Christmas is coming up, and she's having a challenge. So she goes to this world famous psychiatrist. Psychiatrist says, "Look, the depressed kid, get him every toy that he wants. The happy kid, get him something that he would find disgusting. Okay. And so sure enough, she gets a big box of horse poop for the happy kid and every cool toy for the sad kid. And she goes in the sad kid's room because she can't hear anything. And she opens up and here's the kid sitting around all grumpy and stuff with all these toys around him. Says, yeah, if I open up anything, it's just going to break. I don't want to mess it up now. I don't even think I should start with it. She goes, wow, that didn't work. And then she hears all this yelling and screaming in her other kid's room and goes in there and there's he's in the middle of this box full of horse poop, throwing horse poop everywhere, saying, you can't fool me. I know there's a pony in here somewhere. Okay, so belief systems. Now, one of the things that we've got to do is change. And I like neurolinguistic programming. I mean, you can do emotional freedom technique. There's a lot of methods out there. Neurolinguistic programming involves body posture, volume, intonation, and breathing. So if you see something that's a trigger, okay, you can reprogram your subconscious through repetition. It's not a belief system. And it involves body posture. Why body posture? Well, this changes the influence to the small brain in the back, the cerebellum. That controls the frontal lobe. Anxiety, stress, impulse control, and depression are all from that frontal lobe. I mean, there's a gut brain or enteric brain connection. Look at all our videos. And I think they're probably still going to be up. Who knows? Okay. We lost 3 last week, but how to program your brain would be a good one. Or I even wrote a couple of books on that. But doing the I am, and this is through repetition. And it's just like lifting weights. You're not going to lift it once and get strong. You've got to redo your mind over and over and over. Now, I do this every morning when I'm driving to work and I'm thinking about, an employee or a patient or some kind of challenge. Okay, that's all delusion because you're in the car. None of that stuff's really happening. It's like if you're going to Uncle Harold's house, okay, and it happens to be a family event and he's an asshole. Okay. I mean, everybody's got an Uncle Harold in their family. Okay. And you're thinking, well, he said this and I'm going to say this. And, that's still delusional. It's not really happening. So when you catch your brain doing delusional, repetitive things, take control of it. Be a master of your own mind. And this is why you say the I am before a group of words. And make your own group of words. Okay. This is a good one to start with. But I am healthy. I am dynamic. I am vibrant. I am strong. I am healed. Okay. And you do this over and over. You don't have to believe it. Okay. It's like practicing tennis. You don't have to believe the ball. Okay. No, you just practice it and you'd get better at it. The same thing with this. The body posture is hugely important on this. You're not going to walk around and say, wow, I'm depressed. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay. I'm feeling really happy. No, because that body posture changes the influence to the brain. You change your brain, you change that. I mean, and this body posture, volume, intonation, and breathing, I recommend you do it. Now, mindstorming. Mindstorming, this was taught to me by one of my most brilliant doctors. And I've told several people it, and it works 100% of the time. But you've got to do it. Okay, you've got to put something that you want on the top of there. Okay, now this seems almost insurmountable. Okay, opening a healing center in Thailand. I've got some contacts in Thailand. It seems like a nice part of the world. It's only a 16-hour flight away, but I know it sounded a little bit like not fun. Okay, but what if you knew that you could make this center amazing, that's going to affect lives of the entire world, where you could start doing teaching, you could teach doctors, and this could change that entire section of the world into an aspect where people will be able to heal themselves, natural healing, where we could take over China. How's that for one? So you write 20 specific actions underneath that you're going to do. Now, again, this is you sitting in a room with a paper and pencil, and you're going to find this because you could write 3 or 4 down. Develop a teaching site. Look at the licensures over there, okay? Like Mexico, there it's not licensed. So you've got to work under somebody else's license. So you get these little challenges. But once you get those 20 actions and you complete those 20 actions, you are guaranteed to have whatever the heck it is that you put on the top of the paper. It works 100% of the time, 100% of the time. Mindstorming. Then troubleshoot your life. Okay, what happens if you don't do anything this year? What happens if you don't change? Or what happens if you just change 1%? What if you change 1% a week? Okay, guess what? You got a 52% change at the end of the year. Okay, doesn't that sound nice? If you can't walk for an hour a day, what if you walked 5 minutes? 5 minutes a day. Could you do 5 minutes? Everybody in here? Yeah. What if you're paraplegic and your wheelchair is broken? Could you deep breathe for 10 minutes a day? Yeah, there's always something you can do. Um, and if you're going after something and you don't have that passion, you don't have that drive, guess what? It might not be for you. You might be living towards other people's values. They might say, "Hey, look, you should be doing this. You should be getting a job. You should give up your painting. You should, be responsible." Hey, maybe that's not your thing. I just had a conversation with a 9-year-old kid who's frustrated because she's having a challenge with math. Okay, and her teacher sounds like he's really not a good teacher. He shows a video. Okay, and she can't learn from the video. So I said, "Look, there's a math coloring book that's really cool. There's some blocks and stuff. I can show you some fractions. But also, since you're frustrated, guess what? I showed her a breathing technique. Okay, so it can calm down her brain. And I told her that we could work on this. And I mean, I'm a chiropractor. I'm helping a 9-year-old kid with her math studies. Okay, but we all got to do this. We all got to help each other. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, now, has anyone had loss of job, loss of family, friends, anything this past year, loss of change in a lifestyle? Okay, and forget just last year. Let's go on the last 2 years because we're starting year 3 of our incarceration. Okay, everybody has. So what's the Chinese character for crisis? A dangerous opportunity. Okay, and one of our patients, I mean, years and years ago, on Thanksgiving Day, she had an accident, okay, driving through. It wasn't her fault. And she was T-boned by a car. And her little baby that was in the car seat died. Okay, now that, tragic. Okay, but does that give you like a little bit more of an appreciation for life? The temporal nature of life. Okay, do you think that they have more of appreciation for their surviving children? And it's just like, and I'm picking the most horrible thing that could happen to anybody in my world. Okay, because it's the job of a parent to protect and to nurture. Okay, and to have something like that happen, is that a devastating or devastating? But going on with that, to go on with life, to get up, you're going to notice that there's always a balance in nature. There's a balance in life. Okay, where you're going to have the appreciation for that person. And that's why I'm looking at life and death now in a completely different fashion. I just lost my brother-in-law, and God, I still feel his presence here because he's always going to be living in my heart and my mind. I can still feel my dad, who died when I was 13. Okay, I mean, you can feel this energy and appreciation for the moments that you had with these people. Does that make sense? So now that you're going to achieve all your goals, you wrote down 100 things to do, be, or become. The real key is tomorrow begins today. So this means you got to sleep good tonight. Okay, so look at our sleep videos. Nutrients, you got to have appropriate nutrients that your body can metabolize. Does that make sense? You've got to play every day. Play every day. Even though I'm working 6 days a week, I'm telling you, I'm tossing kids around. I'm throwing stuffed animals to the kids around here. I mean, I'm tickling an adult occasionally. You got to play even if you're at work, okay? And prayer and meditation. Change your sleep patterns, okay? I recommend going to bed at 10 to 10:30, getting up at 4 to 4:30, okay? Optimal human function is 6.5 to 7.5 hours. Look at our sleep videos so you can reset your circadian rhythms. When you're in a stressed state, your body can't break down nutrients. This is where juicing and blending come in. Okay, if you don't have a juicer or a blender, then get some fresh fruit. If you can't get fresh fruit, get frozen fruit. Okay, don't let one thing stop you. Okay, when I was going to chiropractic college, I lived in a storage unit for 6 months with 2 kids. And you know how tall the roof was? It was exactly this tall, because I would bend over, keep my legs straight as far as my head would bend, and that's the height of the roof. Okay, so I understand that you might not be able to afford a juicer, but you can get a hammer and a cheesecloth, okay? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, smoothies, if you can do that, blending, it's fantastic because this pre-digest it. I mean, look at if you can't get fresh organic, okay, get frozen organic, get packaged, get dried organic. Okay, there's going to be easy ways to do it. Animal products are good if they're from healthy animals. Okay, you know, it's just when you're in a stressed state, it's easier to break down plant proteins. Look at exercise differently. Play every day. Look at archery, walking, take up a new skill, hobby, whatever. Just go out there and try something. Pickleball, okay, tennis. Now, if you have a relationship and the relationship is having some challenges, no kidding, okay, do the 90-day challenge. The 90-day challenge is like the greatest thing in the world, where for 90 days, you live as if your partner is the most amazing, supportive, loving, I mean, just passionate, wonderful. Whether it's reciprocal or not, okay, live that way. Do you know why? Because at the end of 90 days, if it ain't reciprocal, you can leave with your head held high saying, hey, babe, we gave it a good shot. You know, I really enjoy all the time that we had together, most of it. Okay, but I'm going on to something else. Or it's reciprocal and you guys are tight and it's going to be the best in the world. I mean, and understand there's a lot of different ways to communicate. There's touch, there's sound, there's auditory. There's a lot of different ways to say I love you. And there's a lot of ways to communicate that. Okay, just know that your partner might be visual, kinetic, auditory. You know, they may need to hear it. I know some guys don't like to talk a lot. So when we talk about this, the 5 keys to life, talk about setting goals, nervous system, and this is changing your perception. If you change your perception to something vital that you can make a change in the world, that gets you in that regenerative state. If you exercise, that detoxes your system and gets you in that regenerative state. Getting the proper nutrition, sufficient rest, and prayer and meditation. Now, prayer and meditation, should you do that daily or daily? Okay, yeah, daily. And I even talked to one of the docs because we're working on this one kid who's got some brain issues, and he's saying, you know, how do you know how much force to put? How much do you know? And I said, well, I got an idea. When you're touching the patient, pray over it. Okay, see if you can get some guidance. If not, call me over. Okay, and I'll use my thousands and thousands of people experience. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so have a good connection with your spiritual nature, okay? Because we are more spirit than man. Now, we're going to shift to a tough topic that the Ministry of Truth will not do. Now, it was kind of interesting because a year and a half ago, I didn't have to do this because we just put videos up. And if if you found it offended, you would not watch it. I know, but now people aren't smart enough to hit the switch button, so the government is deciding for you. So we're going to delve into some areas, and so I'll see you next week with another really cool, exciting topic. Call our office if you need a copy of these forms. They'll also be available on the Dr. B VIP, or just get a sheet of paper and write 100 things and to do, be, or become. And you can do that with a pencil and a piece of paper.